go. Let me pause this music and let's get on in here. First,
What's
I
going on,
wanted to
guys?
start.
This is
Oh, hold on. First, I wanted to start off by watching Comics Explain. So you can watch him here. He's right here. Pretty cool. He makes a lot of reviews over, Marvel comics, DC comics. Sometimes he did Impossible. He'll jump out and do a few other like comics. He doesn't do anime or manga, but he just focuses on like American comics for the most part. He did I think do some with Avatar. He does some stuff with Star Wars now. He does some with Star Wars now due to them being owned by Disney and Marvel now taking over you know, the comic side of uh, things. I guess making the comic, but yeah, let's get into this.
Rob, and we are back with another installment of our Beyond Omega Level series where we go over the origins and powers of the strongest characters in comics. And today's video was suggested by a viewer with the user.
Oh yeah, so yeah, we're watching Beyond. I guess I forgot. We were watching Beyond Omega Level Alpha. So, so they're like he said, they kind of go over the powers and abilities of a lot of these characters. So, let me cut this up. So, what a Beyond Omega level character normally is, like they have different ranks. Like some are like Gamma, Beta, Alpha, Omega, and then like Omega level. There might be some other rankings there. Actually, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Look up Marvels. Oh, is this it? Oh, oh my goodness. How do we look this up? It's mutant. Hold on. So it's Marvel mutant uh, power ranking. Class level classification. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so the mainstream universes and their so they're Greek number classification. So you have alpha level and alpha class. These like that'd be like what Cyclops, and then you have beta, which I guess does it give like a little synopsis? Okay, so there's a lot of different. Oh my goodness, there's so many different. Okay, we're gonna do the mainstream one. So yeah, they have alpha level, which is like I guess the lowest. Then you have, which is kind of like Cyclops. They're like on a lower level, local level. Can't really, they don't really do do anything on like a they can't well I guess it's kind of like how do the power scalers do it. So an alpha level, they probably be like city breakers. Like Cyclops could like walk in a city and he can mess stuff up, but like if it came to him, like, well, actually I don't know, I don't know, I guess he could just laser stuff. People could just hit him with like a bullet, he would die. Like he could probably take over a city or a town or something, but like his power is not gonna like destroy the earth. Whereas like beta level, they could probably take over like a continent type deal. Though like who's in here? So Stepher Cuckoos. Wait, hold on. Mutant power level classes never still have our mega level mutants potential. What is beta? What, man, can we find? Let's find a different one, man. Let's find a better one. That one is not straightforward. Okay, here we go. CBR. How reliable are they? So we have Omega level mutants. These people are the most powerful class of mutants. You know, they're the ones that can like take over the world. But you have Alpha. Yeah. What is Alpha? Let's get. However, the second most powerful. What can Omega level do? Pretty much Omega levels can like destroy the entire like universe or dimension. Dude, Ollie is getting turned over here, man. He's having big fun. And then like beta level people are like Forge, someone who can like who just has like basic levels. But let's just get back to the video.
Your name, I should be studying. Which is amazing. And this might be the first character we've covered that has actually been canonically, I always have a hard time pronouncing this word, that has actually been officially designated as explicitly being beyond Omega level in Marvel Comics. Something that a lot of you guys may not know. Oftentimes, when it comes to a character being considered beyond or beyond Omega level, they're not often inferred or directly stated as being that level of power. It's more the things they've done with the power they have that puts them in that category. But while this
That's true because like they've always mentioned a lot of these, I guess, rankings in the comics, yet they never straight up say like Iceman is this level mutant kind of deal. But they will describe like an Omega level mutant is someone who can destroy the known world type deal. And then they'll be like, ah, hmm. You're like, which mutants could potentially do that or have done that? Like Wanda in the House of what is it? The House of Mutants, House of yeah, House of M. Sorry, the House of M. Like she just destroyed everything. He covered this here, but there, bro.
This character has the potential to be the greatest threat the Marvel Universe has ever seen. He has an incredibly boring name, Alpha. So Alpha was created by Dan Slott and Humberto Ramos and first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 692 in 2012. Now in this issue, we're introduced to a student at Midtown High named Andy Maguire, named after the two actors who had played Spider-Man at that point in time.
They really named this guy Andy Maguire. Okay, I'm not mad, but I don't know why. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna listen to it.
Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Now Andy is largely ignored by his parents and is basically your average student. He's not
You know, that is always the making of a great superhero. You know, someone with great potential, but yet ignored by the world. Hmm.
especially smart or athletic or even popular. But one day he forges his father's signature on a permission slip and goes on a field trip to Horizon Labs, where Peter Parker shows off his new discovery, which he's humbly named Parker Particles. Now Parker Particles, as
Parker Particles. You know, you got to keep it simple. You know, gotta let it roll off the tongue.
Peter explains, are a form of energy tied to the expansion of the universe and are capable of producing near limitless power. So you can probably figure out where this is going. But during the demonstration, one of these scientists disengages the safeties on the equipment, causing the energy created by the particles to break containment. And as you have probably predicted, Andy Maguire finds himself doused in energy. Now, not only does he survive, much to the surprise of everybody.
Are you telling me the Parker Particles? If you fell in them, you know, in just the right way, and so happen to be a Giga Chad, you could just survive this and end up with superpowers.
Watching, but he immediately manifests superhuman abilities as he creates a
I guess you can.
force field to shield his classmates from falling debris. Now, naturally, Andy's parents hire attorneys and they threaten Horizon Labs with a lawsuit for nearly killing their son. But the lab
So your son goes on a field trip and ends up with superpowers. Hold on. I'd probably be mad too. I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably be a little upset. I'd probably be like, what the heck? Like, what is going on here?
brings in the world's foremost experts in studying superhumans, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Hank Pym, and Hank McCoy, also known as Beast, all of whom are basically there to try to find a...
I wonder when this takes place canonically. But if this guy is as powerful as he is, he's probably, not going to, I don't know, he's probably not going to, be written a lot, because it's not really fun to have a character who's like super overpowered and then they're able to just like snap their fingers and fix the problem, because the enemies that you have to give them, they're almost not relatable at times. But teaches on.
a solution. Now, in the examination of Andy Maguire, they find that...
Well, I take that back. I would like to watch him learn how to use his powers, because just because he can almost do anything does not mean he can do anything, because he's going to have a hard time being able to learn how to do it just right, because he's going to make mistakes and or be unsure of himself and have a lot of mental blocks. So actually I probably would like to watch it if it was from like the beginning until he became a god, and then I would like to see him pass the mantle on to a new age, but that's whatever.
Every cell in his body has been permeated by the Parker particles, and that they constantly charge and recharge to provide him a variety of superhuman abilities. In their assessment, they determined that Andy's list of powers include energy projection, super strength, super speed, and flight. Pretty much run-of-the-mill stuff for any superhero. Furthermore, they discovered...
Sorry, that is true. Like, if you are to be a decent superhero, you need to have super speed, super strength, be able to fly, probably have, at the same time a super level of durability to be able to withstand the ability to run fast and fly, because if you, are flying hella fast and hit the ground, you're probably going to die.
That Andy is only able to use one of these powers at a time. So for instance, he cannot fly and use energy projection at the same time. He can only do one or the other. But here's where things get interesting, because undoubtedly you're asking yourself, how in the world does the ability to fly and punch hard make this guy beyond Omega level? Patience, Rob.
So you're telling me he has, okay, so his power, he has the ability to do whatever, but he only can do everything one time. He can do only one thing at a time. So it's like, if he wants to run fast, he can't fly. Well, I mean, that makes sense. But if he's flying, he can't shoot beams. That's kind of lame, because if you have to go to the sky, well, I guess he could do it. I guess it would work. It wouldn't be that bad, because it would be you have to learn how to use. He would have to learn how to use his powers. You know what I'm saying? He could shoot himself up. Well, if he has to stay in I don't know. That'd be really difficult. That sounds like really a hard cap. Okay, let's get back to the video.
Patience. So here's where things get interesting. As Reed Richards tells Peter that over time, Andy's powers will continue to grow, this is because they are tied to the universe itself. And the universe...
Of course his abilities are tied to the universe.
Is constantly expanding. Reed even says that while the Hulk, the Sentry, and the Phoenix Force are designated as Omega level threats, that Andy goes beyond that and will eventually become the first ever Alpha level threat, which doesn't really make sense from a naming perspective, because Alpha comes before Omega in the Greek alphabet. And also, when clarifying mutants, Alpha level mutants are already a thing, and they're not as powerful as Omega level mutants, but whatever. The point is that
we covered that earlier. We were talking about how alpha mutants are...
Andy Maguire is stated to be beyond an Omega level threat, so we don't even have to debate whether or not he belongs on this list, because we know he does. Marvel told us he does. And the fact that he will one day surpass the Phoenix Force really lets us know that he's one of the biggest threats the Marvel Universe has ever seen. Now, because he's so powerful, and because Peter Parker is partially to blame for him existing, it's decided that Spider-Man will be responsible for training Andy. Furthermore, to avoid a lawsuit, Horizon Labs agrees to a lucrative contract for Andy to be a spokesman for them, which leads to him becoming a superhero and adopting the name Alpha. Now, Peter Parker, who is believed
How does how did what okay? So he gets so to avoid the lawsuit, they're like, "We'll help you with your powers, and you can become a spokesman for us." Huh.
To be an associate of Spider-Man, among other things, makes his suits and stuff like that, is basically put in charge of making a suit for Alpha, but he foolishly does not include a mask, meaning that the whole world knows Alpha's real identity. This means that back at school, Andy Maguire's now the big man on campus, and of course, all the fame and popularity goes to his head and turns him into just a ridiculous dick. Now, when the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man encounter a monster named Giganto, their combined
How can the smartest people in the world hear me out? How can the smartest people in the world, Spider-Man, Reed Richards, Hank Pym, Beast, Bruce Banner, all these cats, looking over this young individual as a superhero, and understand the hubris that comes with being a superhero, especially Peter Parker, who, the whole comes great power, comes great responsibility. You know, that whole thing that we had to go through two franchises. Luckily, the third was a little unique, but you get what I'm saying. They should know he's a young teenager. He just got the ability to flex on anyone and everyone at will. Whenever he want, he got the free ticket. No bully gonna tell him what to do. The teacher's gonna be like, "Yo, Andrew, stop talking." He's gonna be like, "Me, stop talking. I'm Alpha." Who are you? Um, I am. I don't know. I feel like they should have seen that one coming.
efforts prove to be insufficient to defeat it. Despite being told, of course, to stay out of the conflict, Alpha comes to their aid and defeats Giganto with one punch, officially making him One Punch Man. But as the press gathers around, Alpha declares that he is on his way to joining the Avengers, and that Spider-Man has been designated his sidekick. And so all the heroes have basically figured out that at this point, Alpha's gonna be a problem. Now, Alpha continues to become an increasingly horrible human being, and he, his family, his lawyer, and a girl that he was cheating on his girlfriend with are all kidnapped by the Jackal, who clones Alpha, but the clones don't have Alpha's power.
Dude, this guy got power and became dude. So he's like a supervillain now, or man, he sounds like a dick.
Since his DNA was not actually altered. Now, after being rescued, Alpha kills his clones and decides he's had enough of being mentored and moves to New York to increase his celebrity status. This, of course, leads to Peter Parker to decide that something has to be done about this guy. So as Peter searches for a way to rid
This guy, I feel like he's on his way to becoming a supervillain, man. Like, bruh, is this what you would call a tragic villain? Or what? Like, what kind of villain is it? He's just like, yeah, I got powers now. I'm an asshole. It still reminds me of Brightburn. I got Brightburn. What is it called? Let me look this up. Yeah, was it Brightburn? What was that? What was it? What was it? Yeah, dude, this movie right here. Pretty much the same thing. Super kid gets he wakes up one day and he's like, "Hey man, I got powers," and ain't nobody telling him what's good about the powers, so he just flexes on everyone and anyone, and except he doesn't do the whole like, I'm on my way to be an Avenger, superhero culture is accepted, and Peter Parker is my sidekick. He did none of that. Dude, my glasses are broken. I need to get new ones. Remind me, Chad, to get new glasses.
Alpha of his powers, the Earth is attacked by a villain named Terminus. But this guy draws the attention of the Avengers, including Thor, Captain Marvel, Vision, Iron Man, and Captain America, and even with all that power, they're unable to defeat Terminus. Naturally, of course, they turn to the biggest weapon they have, which happens to be Alpha, who shows up and starts pelting Terminus with energy blasts. Now, even though this is effective in defeating Terminus, the energy that's deflected in battle knocks several planes out of the sky, including one with Aunt May on board, because Because, what's a Spider Man story if Aunt May's life's not in jeopardy? Of course, Spider Man saves Aunt May and then also takes some of the tech that Terminus used to deflect Alpha's attacks and figures out a way to drain Alpha of his energy, which basically.
Damn, this guy. Hey, thank you, Hosh. I get them. My glasses are a little busted, but thank you, man. You the best. I'm probably gonna be playing that V Rising game later. I don't know. I don't know. Not a lot of people I know are on him, but it's pretty fun.
Depowers him and forces.
But man, I'm doing something different with the videos. So I'm starting off doing like just chatting, watching a few of these, like watching a few videos that I got, talking about them, and then getting in there. I mean, this guy Alpha, man, so far, even though his powers seem pretty cool, he was an ass, and he seemed to like he was on his way to becoming a villain. I do say.
Forces him to go back to his old life as a nobody at Midtown High. Now,
Oh, dude, imagine that. You have superpowers for like a week and you're an ass to like everybody in school, your family. This guy even cheated on his girlfriend because he was like, I'm a Giga Chad. Peter Parker says, enough, enough, and takes your powers and sends you back on your way. Woo!
later,
That had me messed up.
after Otto Octavius switches bodies with Peter Parker, he decides to give Alpha 10% of his power back under the pretense of giving Alpha a second chance
Wait, so Superior. So this guy. Hold on, let me go back.
as a nobody at.
This doesn't canonically make sense because Peter wasn't working for Horizon Labs when he was Superior Spider-Man. So if Doctor
Midtown High. Now later, after Otto Octavius switches bodies with.
See, that doesn't make sense. Hold on. That doesn't make sense because Peter Parker wasn't with Horizon Labs, you know, prior to Superior Spider-Man. And so this guy couldn't have got his powers before Peter had been actually Dr. Octavius. So I think this is a mix up, maybe, in this guy. Because right now, he's saying Dr. Octavius took over Peter's body, which he would have already had his body if Peter was working for Horizon Labs, which he is working for Horizon Labs, and must have just was like, "Here's your powers back, buddy." But this doesn't make sense. But it's whatever.
Peter Parker, he decides to give Alpha 10% of his power back under the pretense of giving Alpha a second chance to prove himself worthy of being a superhero. But in reality, it was an attempt to basically harness the power for himself, which you would expect because Dr. Octopus is nothing if not a dick. So the story that follows this is pretty unremarkable if I'm being honest. But the one thing we do learn from it is that Alpha has a power not previously mentioned, which is matter manipulation. And if you've followed our Beyond Omega level series, you'll probably recognize that this is a very common power for Beyond Omega level characters, as it basically allows them to do whatever they want. The trouble with this, and really with Alpha as a whole, is that we don't ever really see him put his powers on display. Other than beating up aliens who are too much for the Fantastic Four or the Avengers, which isn't really that much of a surprise, we really don't get to see Alpha do much. We're just told that he has the potential to become an Alpha level threat. But hey, at the rate Sony's optioning movies based on obscure Spider-Man characters, maybe we'll see an Alpha movie and see more of his powers on display. I have no idea. You debate in the comments whether or not it's a good idea that Sony's doing this.
I actually would like to see that because Alpha, he gave me Brightbird energy. That's all I'm saying. He gave me Brightbird energy. I don't know if y'all ever seen Brightburn, but I don't know. This guy gave me Brightburn energy.